The three engines were soon hard at work. Sir Handel and Rusty would bring supplies to the construction site, and number one would shunt the trucks where the workmen needed them. Everything went well enough, but it wasn't long before Sir Handel began fussing. "All those trucks," he grumbled to the others one night. "They do wear an engine out so." "Just be glad we have number one to help us," said Rusty. "Without him, we'd have to deliver the trucks and shunt them all by ourselves." "He's doing all right, I suppose," said Sir Handel loftily, "but I'm certain I could manage the shunting by myself." Peter Sam chuckled. "I never thought I'd see the day when you turned down help with trucks." "Well, it's the principle of the matter," said Sir Handel, glaring at his friend. "Why doesn't manager let me manage the site instead of doing all those tiresome supply runs? If he trusts me to pull those nasty trucks back and forth all day, he can surely trust me to shunt them by myself." "Not if I remember your shunting," quipped Peter Sam. "I remember when Grandpa tried to teach you. He said you were a nightmare." Sir Handel turned beet red. "That was then, this is now," he snapped. "I could manage the work fine by myself." The other engines decided to leave the matter alone. Sir Handel could be very stubborn when he wanted to be. At the points leading onto the new line, there were a number of sidings. Rusty and the construction crew had built them to hold the wagons of materials needed to build the line. The sidings were long and hugged the side of a hill out of the way. They were meant to be temporary and would be taken up once the new line was complete. As such, they were not as sturdy as normal sidings, so number one had to take extra care when moving the trucks. One afternoon, Sir Handel clanked noisily to the site with more supplies. The trucks had taken advantage of his bad mood and bumped him all the way along the line. Number one could see that he looked crosser than ever and attempted to brighten the mood. "Hello again," he said brightly. "Had a rough trip, did we?" Sir Handel shot him a thunderous look. "Never mind," said number one. "Let me take those trucks off your buffers." "No, thank you," said Sir Handel pointedly. Number one was surprised. "It's no trouble, really. It is my job to—" "I said no," Sir Handel repeated. "I can shunt these trucks myself, thank you very much." "What's going on over here?" The foreman had come to see what all the fuss was about. "Sir Handel won't let me take his trucks, sir," said number one, feeling rather perplexed. "I don't need to," said Sir Handel snootily. "I brought these horrible trucks myself. I can shunt them myself." "It's number one's job to do the shunting," said the foreman. "Now stop being so silly. We're very busy today, and we don't have time for your nonsense." "It's not silly or nonsense," snorted Sir Handel. "I have to pull dozens of these dirty, heavy things all over the line, while number one gets to muck about with 2 or 3. I want to do some shunting for a change." The foreman tried to reason with him, but Sir Handel refused to listen. In the end, he had no choice but to give up. "Very well, Sir Handel," he said at last. "You can shunt the trucks. I suppose you could do with the rest anyway, number one." Number one, confused and a little offended, puffed back into one of the sidings. Sir Handel ran around his train feeling very pleased with himself. "Now this," he thought, "is my kind of job. Small loads and short distances." The trucks, however, had heard Sir Handel's insults and were keen to pay him out. Sir Handel quickly pushed his train towards one of the temporary sidings. Before he could stop and the front trucks could be uncoupled, they all slit their brakes off and began bumping back against him. "Stop that!" snapped Sir Handel, and bumped them hard. Too hard. The train shot forwards and burst through the weak buffers like a cannonball. The front trucks toppled over, causing the others behind them to fall about in all directions. Sir Handel screeched to a stop at the end of the rails. The trucks and their contents lay scattered all over the site, blocking the line. even delaying a couple of trucks in another siding nearby. The foreman was furious. "You clumsy juggernaut," he scolded. "This is a construction site, not a playground." "I'm sorry, sir," squeaked Sir Handel. "I'll help clear the lanes. I promise I will." "I wouldn't trust you to boil my tea," said the foreman. "We'll really be behind schedule now. What a mess." "Not to worry, sir," piped up number 1 from his siding. "I'll have this cleared up in no time." "I certainly hope so," said the foreman. "Come on, we'd all better get started." Sir Handel was sent to fetch some more trucks, while number 1 set to work. He moved the undamaged trucks out of the way, and then swiftly shunted them into the sidings when they had been filled with debris. Once the line was clear, he brought the breakdown crane from the other end of the site and helped the workmen clear the rest of the mess. When Sir Handel returned, he was amazed to see how quickly number 1 was working. "How smoothly he runs," he thought to himself. "He makes it look like no trouble at all." In what seemed like no time, the wreckage had been cleared. You'd never have known it had been there at all. "Well done, number 1," said the foreman. "I feared that would have taken all day." "Hear, hear," cheered Sir Handel. "That was a most impressive display." "Ah, well," winked number 1. "Not bad for mucking about, eh?" "Yes, well, Sir Handel flushed with embarrassment. "It was nothing against you, of course. I just, Think nothing of it," said number 1. "Even the best of us get stressed sometimes." After that, construction went on as normal. Sir Handel stopped complaining about those tiresome supply runs, and wouldn't forget his shunting mishap any time soon. Not if Peter Sam had anything to say about it.